Good afternoon. It's Ecom Rebel. It is nearly 1 o'clock Monday. So it's after lunch. Normally I get my live streams or get my videos in early, but not today. I've been doing some other stuff and I thought, well, I better get something done. It's about nearly 1 o'clock here, Brisbane time. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the market. Bitcoin, 6,716. Not much change happening there. Ethereum, 482. Ripple at 47 cents. Bitcoin Cash, $754. EOS at $9.06. Litecoin, $82.66. Stellar at 20 cents. Cardano, 14 cents. IOTA, $1.07. And Tether rounding out top 10 at 2.62 billion capitalization. So looks like the market's not really moving too much. We had a move up to 67 and it's basically held at that stage. Now just looking at some of the other ones that have moved, Monero's up 3%, Tezos up 12.7, Zcash at 1.9, and then we get down Digibyte 12%. And Bitcoin Diamond up 27% to $4.12. And that about wraps up those top 50 there, just to see what's happening with the market. So let's have a look at, we'll just have a quick look at the Bitcoin. Let's have a look at the volume, see what's going on. So at the moment, it's the volume, we're at 2.93 billion, so it's only pretty low at the moment. But as you can see, we were at 6,700 there, and we had a bit of a sell-off. As you can see, about 5 million sold off, and we went down a bit. Not much difference, like 6,763 and then 6,740. Well, actually, it went down all the way down to 6,713 and then bought back up again. But that's the last 24 hours. Look at the last 7 days. As you can see, these are the last 7 days. These are when the big volume spikes. So this is like in this hour. So about 34 million volume come in there. We've seen 40 million volume in the last 7 days. If we take that out to a month, okay, you can see where we've had these big moves, about 70 million there. Another big spike, 66 million. And this spike here, about 63 million. And this is where we had the sell-off, you know, from when it was up in the up 7 threes and it went down. And that sell-off there was like 80 million, 100 million in that section. So there was a lot of volume selling off, but we're starting to see get picked up again at the moment. So what's interesting is though, when we look at the, well, let's just have a look at the news. At the moment, all I see is good stuff. I don't see really too much bad going on. We see Bank of Korea saying that the investment poses insignificant risk to the financial market. So this is for South Korea. You've got to remember, like the Asian markets, other than the West, they also make up, they're very significant in volumes. So that's something to take in consideration. So if, this is like basically saying, hey, look, there's no problems with crypto here. It's not going to impact the financial market. It's too small. It's not really going to make any difference. Okay, so that's a good sign, good info. Checking out Bitmain, now valued at $12 billion. Yes, $12 billion. It's also had a funding round recently. This has been basically, this is a Chinese company. They've raised between $300 and $400 million, and also another 50 million here. So basically, they're doing. Also, they're talking about doing a IPO as well, and then they've reported basically that its valuations around about $12 billion. So some of these companies are just huge, and Bitmain, as you may already know, they do all their hardware for the mining, and they're the main miner for Bitcoin. So let's have a look at this next article. World's largest crypto exchange, Binance, expects 2018 profits up to $1 billion. That's right, profits of $1 billion. So what's interesting is, Binance started out, like actual Binance, the coin started out relatively low in price-wise. And if we're going to have a quick look on that on CoinLib. Let's type in Binance. Yeah, BNB. Let's have a quick look, see what information this brings up. So it's at 13.56 right now. 1.55 billion. Let's just look at all. So it started basically around about 10 cents. Yeah, 10 cents August of last year. Yeah, it moved on $1.89 October. November it was up to $1.90. Went to $10 in December, and then all the way up to nearly $22. Now it's faring pretty well. Like, we're at 13.58 compared to $22. It's regained a lot of. It's definitely as picking up compared to what it went to, and as you can see, it's really made a big difference there. So with all the massive volume, and then of course we had that sell-off in December. So even though that's happened, it's still doing extremely well. It hasn't lost all of its value. Like, some coins hit this here and then lost 97% of their value and continued all the way down here and haven't recovered. But Binance is doing well because this coin relates to operating a service, a trading. They make money from trading, and they generate profit, and we can see they generated $1 billion profit. So yeah, there's no reason why this coin won't continue to go up high, and just recently it hit $16. But I think there's just no reason why this won't continue to move on up, because there's going to be more people trading. They're going to be more profitable. I think so. That's pretty good. Pretty good stuff there. There's also an article here by Super Crypto, and I have talked about this one before. So it was talking about, if you're not sure, I will put the links for this. You can check it out. But basically, we're talking about like the futures market, manipulating Bitcoin, and this is what he's talking about now, about this 10K to 6K. And a lot of people said that when we got to 10,000, we wouldn't see it go back under 10,000. So the couple of points here is basically he's talking about cartel suppression. Okay, this is the original post, which you can click on and check that out. And also he's saying most of the crypto community is in denial about price suppression because they don't want to believe that the price is not going to go to the moon. They're not. Like, if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, they're going to make a lot of money. So people don't want to believe that could be true, because then they're not going to make money. Okay, and then the other points he wanted to talk about was Department of Justice has opened up investigation in Bitcoin illicit trading. The Fed did some papers on the launch of the Bitcoin futures and dragged down the prices. And also, June 2018, Bitcoin price was artificially inflated in 2017, New York Times. So what he was saying is that the cartel bought heavily at Bitcoin exchanges from $2,000 all the way up to 12K, and then it hit 20K and basically dumped. Now, he's saying that they've got plenty of money. Now, they've got plenty of money because they print the money. So what he's saying is that we're going to see rallies and dips continually for years and years. We're not going to see like this massive spike to $1 million. We're going to see rallies and dips the whole way. Okay, so this is what he's talking about. And so then he talks about a few different things. And here's an example of what basically goes on. So the cartel uses futures to drive out small investors from precious metals and Bitcoin markets. Okay. And then the cartel buys up those markets cheap, and then when fiat crumbles, the cartel already owns the replacement currency, and the world continues with them in control. So this is what happens, and this has happened a lot before. They use futures as a mechanism to drive the prices down, and once those prices are cheap, they can then buy up those markets as much as they want, and then the thing is, the value is going to increase anyway, because as the fiat crumbles in different places crumble, and whether it's the dollar or some other currency, when that falls apart, they already own these other things. They'll already own the gold. They already own Bitcoin, because they've suppressed the price long enough to buy as much as they can when the price is cheap. So this is the idea what he's talking about. And he talks about this latest one. He's saying how he broke 10K, would never see 10K again. And, now we're still low, what's going on. And so basically, he's talking about what the news, this happened in May when, and he gives the timelines and basically talks about how Mr. Buffett and Bill Gates, how they started, when it was about 10K, they started to talk about, Warren Buffett said Bitcoin was rat poison again, dropped again. Bill Gates decided to trash Bitcoin on CNBC Monday morning, and then came in Mt. Gox, NVIDIA, South Korea, and some other, FUD that was coming out. And all of a sudden, wow, we're down $2,000, okay? And there's some charts to describe what's going on. But this, honestly, this happens all the time, and I don't think it's a coincidence. That's why I believe what this guy has to say is true from the research he's doing. So when you start to see FUD, if you start to see people in positions or news come out that's bad, then you see these price drops, okay? And then when you start to see the good news happening, that's when you start to see the price going up, okay? And as we scroll down, essentially his strategy is whenever it rallies, he sells, and whenever you get that, whenever it drops, like let's say when the dip happens, you then buy into it again. And essentially that's, how he makes money. And also, it's also the space what people believe, because right now, because price has been suppressed for a while, a lot of people have lost money and they've got out of the market. And, they may not think that they're going to get their Lambo or something like that. So when you start seeing the news, people talking about Lambos again, institutional money's coming back, or basically the banking system's going to collapse and Bitcoin will be the next currency. When you start to see these, questions, these things being raised, then you know that the market is gearing up to sell, okay? So that people come into the market and then they've got to sell and then they dump it again. Okay, so it's going to move on up, get dumped again, and this is how it's been controlled, and it's going to be controlled for the near time. So all you do is be aware of that, and just basically pay attention to the bad news that's coming out and the good news that's coming out, because if it's certain things, it does bring down the market. That's because generally people think it's a bad thing, but just realize what it is and how you can profit from that. Okay, so I just thought I'd share that article. I'll put the link below so you can check it out. So I think that's all I wanted to cover today. Also, if you haven't already signed up, I've got a course. You can check it out. You can go to ecomrebel.com, or you can check the link below. And basically, I've got, if I just click here and go through to that page. So basically, you can watch the video and just see what sort of information's in it. Essentially, I cover all the basics of getting started, how to buy Bitcoin, how to sell it, how to use your wallets, making transfers, exchanging, all sorts of things. So I cover that in here. You can check out all the information. It's about 2 hours worth of videos I put together in a course for you guys. So if you're interested in that, you just click the button, get started. And then you can also join we've got a private Facebook group as well, where it discuss more advanced stuff. And later on, I'll be doing a more advanced course in making money with crypto. At the moment, this is just a getting started guide for a lot of people that honestly don't know the basics. And the biggest thing about it is not getting scammed. You don't want to get scammed. You want to choose the right wallets. You want to protect your crypto. You want to get it from the best place. You don't want to get it and make it too difficult for yourself. So, yeah, with that, I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye-bye.